Noah had reached his boiling point. He grabbed the baby's stroller from her hands, grabbing Henry's hand in the other, and started walking towards the parking lot. He motioned to Hazel and Sawyer that he would be right back. Hannah looked at Sawyer and Hazel with disgust, like she couldn't stand either of them. Sawyer looked away, and Hazel waved and smiled, obviously unaware of the body language Hannah was throwing their way. She flipped her hair and headed towards Noah. She had no choice but to follow him now because he had taken the kids from her. Sawyer felt bad for her, really bad. She knew why Hannah was here. She had been Hannah, only not with as much guts, or maybe stupidity. Sawyer couldn't figure it out. Noah had a way of making you feel crazy, of driving you to do things you normally wouldn't, driving you to do things you know you'd pay for later, and Hannah would pay for this. She knew it, and Sawyer knew it. She turned away and focused on the apples Hazel was counting for her. After about 15 minutes, Noah came back to the apple orchard, just as they were about to bring the kids to the series of bouncy houses. He looked pissed. His face was red and his hands were still clenched into fists when he reached them.
I'm sorry about that. She's really hormonal with all of the pregnancies so close together. She can't seem to find a birth control that works for her body. I lied to her because of how irrational she's been. The kids and I have really suffered lately.
Maybe you should get fixed. You've got enough kids, and clearly the pregnancies are hard on her mentally and physically.
After the words came out of her mouth, she knew she shouldn't have said them. He went to grab her and she flinched, but there were so many others around them that he stopped himself. He distanced himself from her and tried to control his breathing.
I'm not losing my manhood because she can't figure out how to not get pregnant. There are plenty of options for women. You managed not to get pregnant again. Why can't she? Why are you defending her, Sawyer? You know that makes me mad.
You're right, it's none of my business. I shouldn't have said anything to begin with. I just hate that she left here feeling like you chose us over her and the kids.
What a ridiculous notion. Let's just finish the field trip and I'll go home and deal with Hannah. She's fine. You don't need to be concerned about my wife.
She got through the next hour of the field trip and had Eric pick her up. She didn't want to cause a scene, so she told Noah quietly, so he couldn't react. That night,